Welcome back to the channel. Today's video takes us deep into one of the most dramatic, emotional, and historically powerful chapters in American coinage. We are stepping back more than a century and a half to explore the incredible story, value, and collector demand behind the United States of America $1 coins minted between the years 1861 and 1865. These are coins born during war, struck during crisis, and preserved through the hands of generations. Their history is breathtaking, their rarity is legendary, and their market value today is enough to take anyone by surprise. So sit back, relax, and get ready for a journey into the Civil War era, because the $1 coins from 1861 to 1865 are not just pieces of metal. They are time capsules from one of the most important periods in American history. Let's dive in. When we look at the United States during 1861 to 1865, the entire nation was divided. The Civil War had broken out, states were splitting apart, and the economy was under extreme pressure. Gold and silver coins vanished from circulation as the public began hoarding precious metals for security. This sudden removal of coins from everyday use created one of the most unusual periods in American coin history. The U.S. Mint faced shortages. Citizens faced uncertainty. And every coin minted during this period became not just currency, but a symbol of national struggle. The $1 coin of this era was no ordinary coin. It was produced in limited numbers due to the chaos of the war. Even more interesting, certain years and certain mint facilities created extremely tiny mintages, making these coins extraordinarily rare today. Collectors across the world consider these Civil War era dollars to be masterpieces, coins that carry both monetary and emotional value. Let's start with 1861, the first year of the war. The mint was still operating under conditions close to normal, but tensions grew quickly. Gold was disappearing into private vaults, and mint employees knew the era of easy production was ending. The 1861 $1 coin carries a sense of calm before the storm. Even though the country was breaking apart, the coin displays liberty seated with dignity, paired with an eagle symbolizing strength. Only a relatively small number survived in high condition, which is why collectors today treasure them as early war relics. Moving into 1862, the situation changed dramatically. Silver and gold coins were virtually invisible in circulation. Paper money was replacing hard currency, and many doubted whether paper bills would hold value. The U.S. Mint continued to strike dollars, but most never reached the public. Many were melted down, lost to hoarding, or saved only in small quantities. This makes the 1862 $1 coin especially desirable for collectors today, particularly in uncirculated grades. By 1863, the country had descended into full turmoil. Major battles were taking place across the nation, the economy was unstable, and confidence in the federal government fluctuated. Despite all this, the mint continued its work. The 1863 $1 coin is one of the scarcest of the series. Only limited examples exist, and the survival rate in good condition is incredibly small. When collectors talk about Civil War rare coins, the $1,863 always makes the list due to its extremely low availability and the historical weight of its year. The year 1864 pushed the mint even further. Supplies were scarce, metals were harder to acquire, and production numbers decreased even more. The 1864 $1 coin is another key rarity. Collectors seek it not only for its scarcity but also because of its connection to a crucial turning point in the war. The year 1864 marked the beginning of the end of the conflict, yet it was a time of heavy losses, economic distress, and major mint production changes. Owning in $1,864 is like holding a piece of history from a year when the country was fighting desperately for unity. Finally, we reach 1865, the final year of the Civil War. This was a period of hope and heartbreak. The war ended, but President Abraham Lincoln was assassinated just days later. The country was both relieved and devastated. The $1 coin minted in 1865 reflects the transition from war to rebuilding. It is scarce, meaningful, and cherished by historical coin collectors around the globe. When these coins appear in the market today, collectors are willing to pay extraordinary amounts. The value of Civil War era $1 coins continues to rise, driven by demand, scarcity, and historical importance. These are coins that museums proudly display, coins that advanced collectors search for over decades, and coins that rarely come in perfect condition. Every single one that survives is not just a collectible, it is a survivor of a nation's most painful and defining chapter. The design of these coins also adds to their beauty and desirability. Liberty is shown seated, holding a staff and shield, symbolizing strength, resilience, and hope. The eagle on the reverse stands tall, representing the fight to preserve the Union. These symbols become even more meaningful when you consider the years in which the coins were produced. Every polished surface, every engraved line, and every historical scar these coins show today tells a story. What makes these coins so valuable is not only their historical background but also their rarity. During the war years, the public had little trust in paper money, so people held on to their precious metal coins. Many were hidden away, some were lost during battles, others melted for bullion. Very few survived the passage of time in collectible condition. And in coin collecting, rarity drives value. The fewer examples available, the more collectors compete, and the higher the price climbs. Another factor influencing the value is mint quality. Some mint branches produce better strikes than others. Differences in sharpness, clarity, and detail can raise or lower the value significantly. And because the 1861 to 1865 period was so unstable, even small mint variations are considered important today. A strongly struck coin from this era is a treasure. A weakly struck one still holds value, but collectors always pay top dollar for sharp detail. Many collectors today search for Civil War era dollars because they connect the past to the present. These coins remind us of a time when the nation was nearly torn apart. They symbolize resilience, unity, and the birth of a new America. For someone holding an 1861 to 1865 $1 coin, it feels like holding a piece of living history, something that has survived war, chaos, time, handling, and countless owners who passed it carefully from one generation to the next. These coins also have strong demand in the international market. Collectors from across Europe, Asia, the Middle East, and beyond seek American Civil War coins because they represent one of the most studied and fascinating periods in modern history. This global demand pushes prices even higher. Every auction that features one of these coins ends in intense bidding. Many collectors wait years before they even see one offered for sale. The anticipation, competition, and excitement around these coins are unmatched. They are not ordinary numismatic items. They are centerpiece coins, the pride of any serious collection. The most important thing for collectors to understand is that condition matters. A well-preserved 1861 to 1865 dollar can be worth far more than a worn example. Coins with sharp details, original surfaces, and no harsh cleaning always command premium prices. That is why collectors often send their coins to professional grading services to authenticate and preserve them. A graded, sealed, and certified Civil War era coin instantly becomes more valuable. So, what are these coins worth today? How much money can a rare $1 coin from the Civil War era bring in the current market? This is where things get exciting. After evaluating rarity, demand, historical importance, metal composition, and past auction results, some exceptionally preserved examples of 1861 to 1865 $1 coins have reached incredible levels of value and continue to appreciate over time. We take a deep journey into a special era of American numismatics. An era defined by handcrafted dies, early mint struggles, limited production, silver quality challenges, and designs that would later become icons of American coinage. Whether you are a seasoned collector or someone simply fascinated by rare money, prepare yourself for one of the most exciting episodes yet. We're diving into the legendary early United States $1 coins dated from 1801 through 1809. We will explore their history, their design, the obstacles faced by the mint, why they are so rare today, and of course, what makes them worth so much money in today's collector's market. And at the end you will discover the astonishing current value of the most desirable example, written out in full words exactly as requested. Let's begin our journey back to the early 19th century. The United States Mint, headquartered in Philadelphia, was still a young institution. Operations were manual, slow, and often inconsistent. Every die was hand engraved. Every planchet was manually prepared. Every strike was powered by muscle, mechanical leverage, and hard work. Unlike modern times where machines produce millions of identical coins, the early 1800s coins carry individuality. Tiny variations, irregularities, and handmade characteristics that make each surviving example a unique piece of American history. The silver $1 coin of this era is part of the iconic draped bust series, a design that first debuted in 1795. The portrait of Liberty on the front was inspired by classical European artistic styles, often said to be modeled after Philadelphia socialite and Willing Bingham. She represented elegance, youth, and beauty, the qualities the new nation wanted to reflect in its currency. On the reverse, the heraldic eagle design took inspiration directly from the Great Seal of the United States. It features a proud eagle holding arrows and an olive branch, symbolizing both the strength to defend the new nation and the desire for peace. 13 stars hover above, representing the original states. Every element of the coin was a message to the world. America was strong, stable, and ready to join the ranks of established nations. But despite the beautiful design, early production was far from smooth. Silver was scarce. Minting equipment broke frequently. Skilled engravers were limited. And every year production numbers remained low. That is why any early $1 coin is rare, but those specifically dated between 1801 and 1804 are among the most legendary in all U.S. coinage history. The 1801 $1 coin is scarce today because only a small number were ever minted, and even fewer survived. Silver coins circulated heavily for decades, becoming worn, scratched, damaged, or lost. The ones that survive today in high grade are considered national treasures. Collectors admire them not only because they are old, but because they carry the living fingerprint of early America. The 1802 silver dollar presents another extreme rarity. Mintage numbers were desperately low. Economic and political pressures reduced silver deposits at the mint, and several historians believe that many $1,802 were struck with leftover dies, leading to mismatched varieties. To find a clean, sharp, original specimen in today's world is something collectors dream about. Then comes the 1803 silver dollar, one of the most popular early dollars ever made. It is a fan favorite in the numismatic community because it is the last $1 coin officially minted for circulation before production paused for nearly 3 decades. After the 1803 issue, the United States Mint stopped creating silver dollars for regular use to prevent them from being melted or exported, a financial issue that was hurting the young nation's economy. This pause makes the 1803 date historically significant and a must-have for serious collectors. Now let's step into the fascinating world of the famous $1,804. It is often called the king of American coins. Although the 1804 date is printed on the design, the original pieces were not actually minted in 1804. Instead, a very tiny number were specially struck years later as diplomatic gifts. Because of this, the $1,804 became one of the most valuable coins in the entire world, with auction prices reaching millions of dollars. Even collectors who will never see one in person know its legendary reputation. However, our focus continues through the lesser-known but still historically important years 1805, 1806, 1807, 1808, and 1809. While no official circulation dollars were struck in these years, coins dated earlier were often restruck, reused, or repurposed as the mint attempted to reorganize its silver program. Collectors searching for varieties from these dates study die cracks, engraving differences, edge lettering, and other tiny details that reveal how the mint operated during that transitional time. All of these factors, from low production, to heavy circulation, to age, to historical meaning, combine to create extraordinary demand among collectors. Early $1 coins are not just old pieces of metal. They represent the foundation of the American financial system. They show what craftsmanship looked like before machines took over. And every tiny scratch tells a story from the hands of early citizens who used them as real money during the era of Thomas Jefferson, James Madison, and the birth of American democracy. Today, Collectors seek these coins in every grade. Even a heavily worn example can attract huge attention. But when one of these early date $1 coins appears in excellent, original, preserved condition, the competition becomes fierce. Auctions fill with bidders. Wealthy collectors battle for ownership. Institutions and museums show interest. These coins have an emotional and historical gravity that makes them priceless in the eyes of many. Why are these coins worth so much today? The answer is simple: rarity, history, condition, and demand. Thousands of collectors want them, but only a tiny number exist. The early mint often melted older coins to recycle silver. Natural disasters, household accidents, and circulation were destroyed countless pieces. Some were lost in shipwrecks. Some were carried across frontiers and never recovered. All of this adds enormous value to the few survivors that remain. Every time one of these early $1 coins appears on the market, the excitement reawakens. Collectors talk about them for months. Auctions publish high-resolution images. Researchers study new varieties. Sometimes discoveries occur, like a newly found dyed pear or an unknown edge style, that change what experts thought they knew about these early years. Imagine holding a coin in your hand that was struck when America was barely a quarter century old. Imagine the stories that coin could tell. It might have been used in a general store in Philadelphia. It might have traveled by stagecoach or been carried across the early western frontiers. It might have sat in a merchant's cash drawer during the presidency of Thomas Jefferson. And somehow, through war, economic collapse, expansion, and modernization, it survived to the present day. This is what makes early dollars magical. They are snapshots of a moment in time. They are historical artifacts. They are works of art. And in the hands of collectors, they become prized possessions that can attract enormous financial value. Today, the early United States $1 coins from 1801 through 1809 continue to set remarkable prices in auctions across the world. Collectors who specialize in early silver often describe them as the foundation of their entire collection. Their beauty, their rarity, and their historical importance make them one of the most desirable categories in American numismatics. If you ever find an early $1 coin at an antique shop, estate sale, old collection, or family inheritance, never overlook it. Never clean it. Never handle it improperly. Even a worn example can be worth thousands. And a well-preserved example can attract life-changing money. We're taking a journey more than 200 years into the past, to explore a pair of American silver giants from the early 19th century. These coins come from the era when the young United States was still defining its identity, and every piece of currency was a small symbol of national pride. We are talking about the incredible 1817 and 1825 United States $1 coins, two historic masterpieces that collectors chase, study, and sometimes spend a lifetime trying to obtain in the highest possible grades. These early American dollars are not like the modern circulating coins you find at the grocery store or in spare change. They were forged from real silver, crafted by hand-operated machinery, and designed by artists who were laying the foundation of American coinage. Every dent, every mark, every detail tells a story of early America, a time long before modern minting technology. And because so few have survived in beautiful condition, the rarity factor pushes their value into sky-high territory that sparks the imagination of collectors worldwide. Before we talk about the money, the value, and the unbelievable prices these coins can reach, let's go back in time and understand what was happening in the United States during the early 1800s, and why coins from this era hold such a commanding position in numismatic history. The year 1817 was a time of recovery, rebuilding, and expanding frontiers. The War of 1812 had recently ended, and the United States Mint was slowly returning to full operation. Metal shortages, staffing problems, and limited equipment meant coin production during this period was small and inconsistent. As a result, the 1817 $1 coin was born into a time of uncertainty, making its population today extremely limited. Every surviving example is a piece of that historical struggle. The design of the early silver dollars, especially those around 1817, featured the classic capped bust or early versions of Liberty. The artwork is bold, with liberty appearing strong and confident, symbolizing the endurance of the young nation. The reverse side carried the majestic American eagle, holding arrows and olive branches, a symbol of both strength and peace. These coins were struck with handcrafted dies, meaning every detail varies slightly from one coin to another. This gives each piece a personality of its own. Now, move forward 8 years to 1825, another fascinating chapter in U.S. history. James Monroe was president, and the country was undergoing political, industrial, and geographic growth. The U.S. Mint continued to struggle with limited equipment and periodic shortages of silver, meaning very few large-size silver dollars were produced. The 1825 $1 coin is therefore even more elusive, a treasured rarity that makes collectors' hearts race the moment they see $1 coins from both 1817 and 1825 belong to what collectors call early American silver dollars. These are giants of the coin world, big, bold, heavy, and gleaming with history. They were among the earliest coins ever struck by the American Mint. Owning one from these rare years is like holding a piece of American legacy. It is not just a coin, it is a time capsule from a world that existed 2 centuries ago. Collectors love these coins because they represent strength, rarity, and craftsmanship. But value in the coin world depends on something very important: condition. The difference between a coin that circulated through shops and markets in the 1800s and a coin that was preserved with care can mean a difference of thousands or even tens of thousands of dollars in today's market. When we talk about condition, we use the term grade. A higher grade coin, especially one that shows clear facial features of liberty, sharp feathers on the eagle, and minimal surface marks, can skyrocket in price. And because most early 1800s American dollars were used heavily in everyday commerce, finding a high-quality example today is extremely rare. Many of these coins were carried in pockets, traded for goods, and even shipped overseas as silver bullion. As a result, pristine pieces are nearly impossible to find. So what makes the 1817 and 1825 $1 coins so special today? It's a mix of 3 major factors: rarity, age, and historical importance. Their production numbers were extremely low. Many were melted in later decades when silver prices fluctuated. Others simply vanished through time. This means the surviving population, especially of well-preserved pieces, is tiny. Now, let's get into the part you've been waiting for: the value. How much can these coins be worth in today's market? The answer may leave you speechless. Imagine you're holding one of these coins. Its edges are beautifully reeded, the silver still shining after more than 2 centuries. Liberty's portrait is full of depth, the eagle spreads its wings with authority, and the slight imperfections only add character to its long life. A coin like this, especially from an early date like 1817 or 1825, can attract intense bidding wars at auctions. Collectors from around the world, serious, high-level collectors, are willing to pay extraordinary amounts to own a top-quality piece. But here's what makes these coins even more exciting. Even lower-grade examples carry strong market interest. A worn coin, one that has clearly lived a long and busy life, can still fetch impressive prices simply because there are so few from these years. And when you talk about a mint state or extremely high-grade example, the numbers rise dramatically. These coins reach levels that ordinary collectors can only dream about. Every time an early American dollar goes to auction, it becomes a major event. People track prices, follow the bids, and study the final results to understand how strong the market is. As the years pass, the value of these coins keeps growing, not only because they are rare, but because collectors appreciate their beauty, their age, and their place in America's story. Now imagine someone discovering one of these historic dollar coins unexpectedly, in an attic, in an inherited collection, in an old box of forgotten items, or hidden among loose silver pieces. The discovery could instantly turn into a life-changing moment. Many people across the world dream of finding a treasure like this, and that is why coin collecting continues to attract new enthusiasts every day. The world of numismatics treasures the 1817 and 1825 $1 coins as some of the most desirable early American silver dollars. They are symbols of craftsmanship, symbols of a young nation, and symbols of the enduring value of rare collectible money. For collectors who chase the oldest and most powerful pieces in American history, these two coins sit high on the list of dream acquisitions. If you own one of these coins or ever come across one, whether in poor condition or beautifully preserved, you must treat it with care. Do not clean it. Do not polish it. Any improper cleaning can instantly destroy thousands of dollars of value. Keep it in a protective holder, avoid touching the surface, and consider having it graded by a respected coin grading service. A professional grade determines authenticity and confirms condition, which directly influences the price a collector is willing to pay. For those of you who are new to rare coins, these early dollars serve as a perfect example of why coin collecting is so exciting. You're not just looking at metal. You're looking at art. You're looking at a piece of government history. You're looking at a survivor from a time when the United States was still writing its first chapters. These coins tell stories that textbooks cannot, stories of trade, struggle, craftsmanship, and the early American spirit. And now, after exploring the history, rarity, design, and collector demand for the 1817 and 1825 $1 coins, let's end with the part so many of you enjoy most, the stunning market value. Whether you're a beginner collector or a long-time enthusiast, knowing the potential worth of these historic silver giants is always thrilling.